Hey, this is Rhonda A. White, your life and business optimizer. Thank you for joining us once again for another session of I Am P.A.T.E.N.T. What an amazing week it has been. I know we're on day 6. This is all about I am a trendsetter, but woo, did that time go by so fast. I just want to share with you that this movement was birthed just so you will understand that you have the exclusive right to be you. You have the exclusive right to be in control of you and who you are. I want to make sure that you understand that in your own right, you are powerful. You get to be authentic and to show up as you every day. Of course, you're tenacious and determined. You are electrifying. You are so necessary, and you're definitely a trendsetter. So as we've gone through this week, we've had those affirmations every day to help you encourage yourself, to help you affirm who you are. So remember, I am P.A.T.E.N.T stands for I am powerful, I am authentic, I am tenacious, I am electrifying, I am so necessary, and I am the trendsetter. You were born for such a time as this. You were born to do great things. You were born to succeed. And I want you to know that today, understand that God anointed, appointed, and approved you for this time and for you to go out and be your best you out in the world. So I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stuck with us for the whole entire 6 days. It's been some amazing, amazing speakers. And I'm so grateful in my heart for everyone who took time to join us. And talking about that, tonight's guest, oh my goodness, I hope y'all are ready, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that you guys are in for an amazing treat. Allow me to introduce you to our guest tonight. And I want to tell you a little bit about Suzanne before we get started. Suzanne is an entrepreneur. She's a published author. She's an inspirational speaker. She's a wife for almost 28 years. You talk about setting a trend, she's setting a trend. She's the mother of 3, and she resides here in Oklahoma. She received a marketing degree at Southern Nazarene University and quickly put it to work. Suzanne has worked as a marketing and promotions director for a real estate company and financial advisory firm, and for the business that she co-owns with her husband, Greg. The couple opened their first of 9 businesses 22 years ago after Greg had served the country overseas in the United States Air Force. Thank you, Greg, for serving. They are a multi-unit franchise with a national automobile franchise, Precision Tune Auto Care, which her husband oversees. Suzanne runs the family online business with It Works, and as a professional social media networker, has become a leader within the global company. She enjoys inspiring others to take the lead in your life, to live, to learn, and to give and forgive. She speaks to small groups or large crowds from her experience and success in business, relationships, and in her marriage. Her unshakable faith in God drives her to share hope with those who feel they have no hope. Suzanne is the co-author of the book Fabulous New Life, with a chapter by the same name as the audio story she and her husband Greg produced, Forgiveness. It's a choice. And yes, it is. She and Greg also speak together on subjects as requested. Suzanne has written a variety of ebooks, is a weekly inspirational blogger, and is in the process of writing a book of her own to inspire people to join the movement to choose. Although Suzanne already personally mentored others, she is currently working on her Ignite certification to add the title of personal life coach to her repertoire. She chooses to trust her faith in God and draws on life experiences to do the things that would strengthen her marriage, grow her business, network, bring personal fulfillment, inspire others, and further the kingdom of God. Her family's vision found on her living room wall is, "We give so that others may live." And it is the vision that drives all of Suzanne's choices. Please welcome tonight's speaker, Miss Suzanne Gamard. Hey, Suzanne, how are you today?
Hey, Rhonda. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the call.
Oh, you're so welcome. Let me say thank you. I'm so grateful because I know you travel and you speak. I think the last conversation that we talked, that you and I had, you were traveling on the East Coast, going to go speak at a woman's thing. From there, you went to Florida to go through some stuff. So, woo, you're just global. You're just everywhere. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us and to fill our lives with so much encouragement and inspiration as we draw to a close on the I Am Patent movement for just this week, because the movement going to keep going. So Suzanne, I know that you're talking about tonight about being a trendsetter. And even in your bio, I see so many things that you already are a trendsetter. I mean, think about you and your husband, married for 28 years, been in business forever together, understanding what your strengths are, what his strength is, and understanding who should do this and who should do that, having multi-franchises, multi-different businesses, okay? See, that's what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is not just about owning one little small business. So, I love the fact that you have the topic trendsetter. So, I want you to open up and share with us just what does the word being a trendsetter mean to you, and share with us how you're using this in your walk daily.
Okay. Well, Rhonda, you made me tired just hearing that. But when I was thinking about this ahead of time, I was thinking about the word trendsetter in relation to patent, which is, of course, your brand and what we're this whole telesummit. And so I was kind of comparing it. And when it comes to branding, patent, as I understand it, is like your personal package deal. It's the whole thing. It's what makes me unique and what makes me memorable. Patent is what I stand for, and it's what compels me to do what I do and to say what I say and to make the decisions that I make. And, you know, when I think of patent, patent is what people think of immediately when they think of you. That's what I think. I believe, honestly, there's really no distinction between the personal and professional branding either, because your personal branding is what drives someone to you, kind of like a magnet. It's that pull. And it's what compels them to want to either be a part of everything that you are a part of or nothing. And
So say that again, because most people don't get that. Okay. Most people, when they think about branding, they're thinking it's a company or it's a product, but they don't understand that you have to brand who you are first.
You really do. And I compare that a lot with even the industry that I'm in, because sometimes people will not get that. And we all come in, if you were in a business with several others, let's just use an example there, maybe even Dillard's, we'll just use Dillard's as an example, and you go into Dillard's and there's 3 people in there, you are drawn to somebody, right? Well, they all work for the same company, they all have the same products, they all make the same kind of commission or not, but you're drawn to somebody, and you're drawn to them because they have confidence, they believe in what they're doing, and they're excited to be there, and they have this magnetism about them because it's just there, it's part of who they are, and that's their branding. It's how they hold themselves and what makes them tick, and those are the kind of things that I'm talking about when I say that pull, that magnet. It's you got it, and everybody can get it. They just have to believe in themselves.
I muted myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is very good. And you're right. And they do have to believe in themselves, and you get to develop who you are. And that's the reason why I like the word trendsetter, because think about it. Just like you said, there could be 3 people in Dillard's, and you're drawing to a particular person because that person has set their own trend in their personality, in their attitude, and their positioning of themselves, how they carry themselves. So absolutely.
Right. It's the thing that makes you, that you're set apart. And it's just, you know, people just don't understand that. But the bottom line is, are you branding yourself to offer solutions to people's needs? Are you memorable? Because if you're not, then, you know, if they don't need you, they're not going to remember you. And to me, being memorable is part of that branding, because I think, oh, I want to go back to Dillard's and I've got that girl, Nicole, that does my makeup. And it's because of the personal touches that she put out. So I think that you have to do something unexpected and wow people, because if you don't do something different to establish your brand, then you just fit right in with everybody else and you really don't have a brand. So the only way I see to brand myself, honestly, Rhonda, is to be willing to do what others aren't. When I'm able to do what they're not doing and I stay consistent with it, then that's when the branding is established. And I've also learned that people watch you and you don't really necessarily always know that, but they watch you, they judge you, they make a decision about you long before they ever decide to do business with you.
Listen, that is so true. And I think I told this story on the other session of Trendsetter. That is so true. I was traveling to Dallas a week ago and stopped in a Cracker Barrel. To make a long story short, the waitress, when she approached our table, you can tell she was having a really, really tough time. And so I just asked her, and she just, she let me know that she didn't want to get into it. It was just too much. And I said, well, you look overwhelmed. Do you need a hug? So I got up and I embraced her and I hugged her. And I told her that it was going to be okay, and that she was going to have a great day today. And so when she walked away to go get my drink order, I began to pray for her right there in Cracker Barrel. I didn't say a little soft prayer. I mean, I actually just prayed out loud. So, because that's me. And so, make a long story short, she came back. She was in a better attitude. The rest of the time she served us, she was great. The people behind me, I didn't know anyone was sitting behind me. But when they got up to leave, the lady touched me on my shoulder. And she said to me, that was a really nice thing you did for that waitress, and I thought, oh my gosh, you never know who is watching you. So you need to make sure that you are consistently showing up for one as yourself, and you're consistent in your showing up. So you're absolutely right.
That's right. And this wasn't really something I had thought of when I was preparing for this, but I'll do a very quick interjection here on that very same subject. And it has to do with how I found my husband, because I was in a church in San Antonio and an older woman in the fellowship that I didn't really know had paid attention to me. And I left San Antonio and went to college up here in Oklahoma. And it was a couple of years later when my husband of now was there in that church fellowship for 3 months and became friends with her. And she actually told him about me, and we're married. And I never had really had much interaction with her before that. So people they pay attention, and you have influence even when you don't think that you do. And I think that if it comes down to it, it's really what you make of how you interact with other people and who you're putting first. Are you putting the needs of other people ahead of yours? Because that's authentic, that's genuine, and people can smell it. They know if you're fake, and they know if you really do care. And people really don't care to do anything with you unless they know that you really do care about them. And so anyway, I think it really just kind of comes down to making a decision. So, it's a choice that we all make. Are we going to be real with each other? Are we going to forgive each other's wrongs and shortcomings? And are we going to own our stuff?
That's a big one.
It is. And we got some stuff.
We got some stuff, and we always try not to hide our stuff, or we don't want to, or we're going to be in denial about our stuff, but we got some stuff. And it's so funny because every day I get to learn more about me and about my stuff and just how I am about things, And so one of my lessons that I learned a long time ago, but it just kind of showed up this week. If I'm not feeling 100%, I really don't want to be bothered with anybody. And and so that's part of my stuff, and so but you have to push through.
We do.
Especially when you're visible, you have to push through, and you have to just go ahead, put that smile on, and just go ahead and serve the community. And you can deal with you when you get home, and you can rest. But we got some stuff, and we need to stop trying to hide our stuff and just be real about it.
Because who doesn't have stuff? And if you act like you don't, then you're just being fake. And I have found that when I'm transparent and open up, I mean, I'm not going to just throw up my stuff on everybody, but
Right.
you know when to share.
Yes, there's some wisdom in that.
There's some wisdom, but I have discovered that when I'm real with people, it takes their guard down and it puts a bridge. It bridges a gap where we have a connection, and then all of a sudden it's like light years have taken place from a person that I didn't know at all or barely knew. Now I have a real connection with and an ability to maybe have some influence in their lives in some way or another. And so I think that's real important that we just, deal with it and we don't try to cover it up, and we can become magnificent through it, not just messing around in it. And I believe also, Rhonda, that that's the turning point, that when we take our struggles and we are victorious through them and we share that, that's when our personal brand emerges. And, you just get real, right, raw down to the core. And that's when our personal and professional brand becomes our patent, because it's who we are. So I'm not what I do, okay? But what I am is reflected in all I do. And I'm on my journey. I'm not on your journey. You're not on my journey. And I should only compare myself to what I know that I'm capable of. And, I'm a visionary, and I see things complete, and then I go complete those things. And it's
Right.
because I'm a trendsetter.
That's right. That's right. We love trendsetters. But even in what you were saying, for those people who are genuine and they're okay with sharing their stuff and they're okay with being real, that's been a trendsetter, because a lot of people aren't.
That's right. They're not. They're afraid of what people think, and they just want to go with the flow. And so we've taught our kids to be the salmon. In fact, we say that, be the salmon, swim upstream. Who wants to be normal? Not us. But, without being prepared, without realizing that I was being prepared for some things, I learned years ago that if I was going to set myself apart and stand for something that I believed in, I had to know whose I was, and I had to know who I was down at the core. It's important to have a powerfully strong foundation at the center of your being. That way, when troubles come, and they will, you're not going to get shaken.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this conversation. I really do. I was thinking earlier as you were speaking, I was just thinking about, how we face life and how we face even the things that's happening in our life says a lot about us as a person. It says a lot about our character. It says a lot about being a trendsetter and doing it differently, as you said before, and not always doing it the way maybe everyone else expects you to react to it or to respond to it, or, doing the unexpected. That's been a trendsetter.
Right. It is being a trendsetter. And I kind of like that. I never want to really be like everybody else. But I was raised in a loving home, and I was told that I could do anything that I wanted to do, and that I could accomplish whatever I wanted. I could be whatever I wanted. I was given that kind of support. And I was also taught that I could do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I was raised with a huge amount of faith that if I just moved forward on things, that things would come together. But you know what? I also had a reality of not having all the immediate resources available to do all the things I wanted.
Right.
In spite of all that belief that was instilled in me. So I quickly learned that if it was to be, it was up to me. And so that taught me to be a trendsetter because I had to get creative. I was in a home where it was loving, but my father was a pastor, and there wasn't a lot of extra money, and which was fine. We never really felt like that. We were never made to feel that way at all. But I've in preparing for this, I was recalling some fun memories I had completely forgotten about. And I want to share a few of these, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
So some of my earliest memories of being creative with the resources was when my sister and I, she's like 2.5 years younger than I am. But when we decided, we were little, and we decided we were going to set up a grocery store. You know how you'll play doctor in house. And so we were in the backyard, and there was a little section around the side of our house where our mom could not see us. And we set up a grocery store, and then we invited mom to come out to do some shopping. And that's when she discovered that we had taken that phrase, turning your trash into treasures, literally. And we had dug through the garbage and pulled out cereal boxes and cans. And she was mortified because our neighbors, obviously, I mean, I'm sure they could see what was going on, and they thought, that woman's letting her kids play in the trash. But I just thought that was kind of fun because we didn't care. So we didn't care at all. We just we took what we had, and we made something fun out of it. And then a few years later, I realized that I could strategically, and I have done my strengths, and strategic is my number one. But,
mine too.
Yes, well, no wonder we like each other. But I decided that, you know, I wanted to give more than the funds were being given to me to give at Christmas. And my birthday's early in December. So I figured out that if I were to ask for a child's play sewing machine that really worked for my birthday, then I would have time to make gifts for Christmas with the scraps that my mom had left over in her sewing bin. So I became a trendsetter in our home and modeled that even with my sister. And we learned that you didn't have to be upset about what you didn't have. You just had to find a way to go do what you want to do.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I so love that. Now that's been a trendsetter. Learning how to be resourceful, learning how to look around you and not look at what you don't have, but look at, I do have. I just need to change that a little bit to make it happen. I love it.
Turn it around.
Yes.
So that trend, it carried into my upper elementary and my middle school years. I remember in the 5th grade, this is kind of funny, but I decided, I realized that I had a gift of having influence on people. And I also realized that I had a desire to be an entrepreneur. So I created my own little business at school. My parents didn't even know it. And I made little thumbnail pictures, and I'm not that artsy I'm not a good artist. I'm crafty, but I'm not an artist. But didn't matter. So I made little thumbnail pictures and numbered them. And then I collected, I took orders and quarters from my friends, and I made them bigger. And I sold these little paper pieces of trash, and they became treasures. Once again.
Awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my goodness. I love this. I love this. Are y'all picking up these tips here? Because sometimes even as an adult, we look around and you say, well, I don't have that. I can't do that. Well, make it work. Because I remember, and this is just me being transparent. When I first started in my business, I didn't have this professional little light here.
Right.
That I can plug in with the fancy umbrella and stuff and the soft light to do great videos. So I would take my floor lamp, take the cover off of my floor lamp, change the bulb and use it. Nobody knew the difference.
Like what I'm doing right now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's been a trendsetter. You know what, Susan? I wish we could just go on, but our time, we got like 4 minutes left and our time is up.
Let me get to the meat because I've been building up. If you don't mind, let me just share real quickly what I wanted to share the most. And I've been building up on this trash to treasure. And I wanted to just share with you that through life, we have things that happen to us. And sometimes they're like trash in our lives. And we can decide to do what we want to do with it. We can play in the trash and stay in the trash, or we can turn it into some treasure. And 16 years into my marriage, the thing that I caught growing up, all these lessons that I learned, was put to the test. And, healthy and thriving relationships, they're not easy.
Right.
And they aren't created alone. And they require commitment, determination, authenticity, a positive attitude, love, and a lot of forgiveness, right?
Yes.
Well, sometimes even when our patent brand says, it stays true, others choose not to leave the outcomes up to you. And it's that personal brand that we have to choose to let it rise up anyway. And it was 12 years ago. I've never shared this story this way, but I'm wrapping up. 12 years ago, my man made a choice to change and offer hope to our home. And it's a perspective that I think is important to bring up, because he humbled himself. He became truthful and authentic with me and others for the first time, really. And he took a big risk that it could have resulted in him losing everything. Mm-hmm. By this time, my brand had already been established. And with the help of the one in me, I was able to rise up and choose to forgive. And I made a choice to turn that ugly trash into treasure and save our marriage. And because we share that with others, when the world would have said, throw that ugly trash away, we didn't do it. We became trendsetters instead. And we did what most people don't. And we stayed together, and we've worked through it. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 28th wedding anniversary. And because we share our story and we're just raw and authentic with people, others have been able to save their marriages too. And so that's what I like the most about this conversation, is that being a trendsetter is not just about fashion,
right?
But it's about doing what others won't do for hope and for bringing a change that can offer solutions to real life issues and go against the grain of what the world would say to do.
Suzanne, I have to have you back later on in a couple of months, and we just need to do a live thing just on this topic, because first of all, let me just say this. I am so happy you and your husband made the decision you made. I'm so happy that you made the decision you made, because a lot of time it's so easy just to give up and say, well, you just gave me the perfect opportunity to walk away, rather than to fight, to stay in it, pray through it, and to fight. And I have another friend that's walking through the same thing, and she's making a choice to walk through that. And that's being a trendsetter. That's when saying, listen, I understand that this person is human, and I understand that they're not perfect. I'm not perfect. They made a mistake. So what's more important to me right now? Learning how to forgive so that I might be forgiven.
Right.
Because we forget that part.
We do.
Okay? That we may make a mistake and need to be forgiven. And so, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And so that's a whole nother topic that we definitely can dive into and connect it to about I Am P.A.T.E.N.T and being a trendsetter. So I want to come back and visit with that with you in a couple of months. But I want to give you an opportunity to share with everyone how they can connect with you. And I also know you have a special treat for our audience. So I want you to share all of that. And then I'll come back and I'll wrap it up.
Okay. I'll try to just jump right to the point. So I am a blogger, an inspirational blogger, and a blog site called My Choices Matter. And it does center around this thing we've been talking about, but it's a lot more than that. It's a lot of fun stuff too. And on that blog, I've actually got three little presents for you. So the first one is on the blog. You can just go straight there, mychoicesmatter.com, and you can download a free tip sheet, and it's called 7 Steps to Live Out Your Choice to Forgive, because choosing to forgive with the words is one thing, but learning how to actually live it out is another. So I give you my tips. And I mean, we're 12 years down the road from when things happen. So I think the tips worked. So
Yes.
I've got those for you. And also, not only did I share the story in the book with you as a co-author, but my husband and I had actually already recorded our audio story, both of us sharing, about 2 years after we made that choice to stick together and work things out. And I have that as a gift. If anyone would like it, on my blog, My Choices Matter, you can connect with me and request it, and I'll get that to you. But what I have for everyone who has been a part of the summit is an ebook, and it's called The 5 Basic Life Steps of Effortless Selling and Trend Setting. And the reason is because I am in business, and I also am a trendsetter. And we've talked about the fact that personal and professional trend setting, there's no difference. It's who you are that flows into everything you do. And selling is honestly just influencing. And you can influence someone by doing some simple things and doing it the right way. And this little ebook is something that I have as a gift for everyone. And you can apply it if you're in sales or if you know people, because if you know people, you need it. So, and you'll have that available for them, I guess, as a link.
Yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. Suzanne, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Everyone, I want to invite you to go join the Facebook group, I Am P.A.T.E.N.T with a D, IAMPATENTD. Over there, you're going to be able to engage with all the speakers. Because as I've said on each one of these videos, I said, I can't do this alone. Our goal is to make our world be the difference for our world. And that starts with each one of us. And so I want to invite you to the Facebook group, join in with the speakers. Let's have some real great conversations. I appreciate you this whole entire week, just being there, just getting the nuggets, just receiving everything you needed to receive for yourself to help you be the best you, to help you patent who you are, to help you understand your right as a person, and you get the right to be you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for just an awesome, awesome 6 days. And woo, 18 speakers later. It's been a lot of fun. Suzanne, thank you so much. Make sure you connect with me on Facebook, Rhonda A. White. On Twitter, Rhonda A. White. I am Rhonda A. White, your life and business optimizer. And I will see you online.